Hello, and welcome to the Love Vibe podcast, hosted by Angela and Key, two women from the African diaspora creating space to explore and celebrate the sometimes unheard voices, stories, and storytellers that speak to triumph and healing in the face of adversity and trauma. We will look at our connections to ourselves, to others, the environment, ancestry, and the stars. Yes, astrology. We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we pay respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. We welcome you to join us. Now, let's start the show. Welcome again to the Love Vibe.
And welcome back.
Welcome back. We're now in the second season. And we are just so grateful. We're just so elated with season one, and we really want you to come on with us on this journey for season two, because we have a jam-packed season two.
Yeah.
Because as we say, we're all about the story. We want to know what's happening in the skies. We want for you to also come on this journey about the impact of astrology and what the stars say about, not just our guests, but those little nuances and those little things that are happening in our world that we want you to be aware of. And before we kind of jump into season two, in recognition of like all the guests that we've had, all the learnings that we've had in season one, we're just gonna do a little bit of a recap about, the things that we've learned in season one from our guests, but also in terms of astrology as well. And we had 3 guests in season one. So we had Dr. Kai Nkosi, Stella Kanu, and Simone Abar. And Key, I just wondered, was there any like standout like learnings, anything that just kind of sat with you that you were just like, wow?
Absolutely. I mean, all Black women, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, with Simone's one, it was hearing her just, I mean, in every single episode, especially with every guest that we've had, I feel like we've uncovered a lot, and there's always been something that's like really resonated. And there's always been multiple things, right? But there's always that one thing that sort of just high beams, high vibrational, whatever you want to call it, above kind of like all the others. And so in terms of the episode that we did with Simone, which was the episode, last episode before the end of the season, she just one phrase, and I think I even used that as the title of the episode, which is, when it comes to parenting or motherhood specifically, it's the privilege of bearing witness. And that shit just hit me I was like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I can't live their lives for them. I have to let them do it on their own. And I just have to be there for them. I just have to be that solid rock, that they can fall back into if they need.
Yeah.
So that was a good takeaway for me in that one. What about you? Sorry, the kids are outside.
I mean, like you said, all 3 of those Black women were just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And for me, hearing their stories, and it's not just like life gives you an adversity and you triumph. There's lots of nuances and there's lots of complexity. And in terms of their triumph, it's that level of reflection that they have.
Yes.
The sophisticated level of honesty and reflection. And I'm so interested in like people's heritage. And for me, Simone's heritage, when she said, I mean, like the Lebanese, Syrian, the Spanish, and I think a lot of people who maybe look at the Black community, diaspora or otherwise, always think of, us as everyone's just from Africa.
Yeah.
But no, there's a
No.
lot of
Yeah.
mix. And you also talked about your ancestry as well in one of the episodes where you talked about doing your DNA, and actually there wasn't one continent that you were not connected to in terms of your
Yeah.
ancestry. And for me, it blows my mind. And I think that our concept of the people that have gone before us might be quite narrow.
Yes.
And actually, they were just as much globetrotters as we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Simone's story, and just her energy of a real kind of just joy, you know, how she approaches life with that energy of joy.
Just beaming.
Yeah, just really beaming. And, you know, she's talked about, you know, the challenges in terms of parenting and mental health issues for young people, but still she comes with that edge of kind of this, yeah, it's not like a doom and gloom. It really is a kind of real kind of joyous kind of reflection. And yeah, Stella just blew my head away, to be honest with you. And she's my sister, but you know, she blew my head away.
Every 5 seconds, it was just like,
yeah.
Yeah. Like I honestly, would struggle to pinpoint anything super specific, but there was just one sort of thing that did sort of stand out for me, and it was right out the gate. like as soon as we started asking questions, I think one of the questions we asked was like, you know, describe yourself in 3 words, and one of the words she chose was fearless, but then she immediately followed that up with, that's not to say, you know, I'm without fear. And just the way she kind of broke that down, and I don't know, I found I was from that moment I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
My one was right at the end where she talked about, she posed a question about people asking themselves, yeah, but are you free? Are you free? You know, you can do all of these things, but truly inside, are you free?
Yeah.
And how do you get free? And I was just like, wow, that is a kind of like it just felt deep. It just felt really really deep.
Because it was.
Yeah, really deep. And in Kai's one, when she talked about ancient Kemet, and she talked about how Jesus Christ and the Son, and about how the stars and the what was it, the rising stars, and then the stars that
the rising of the sun and
the rising on the sun, and then the horizon,
the winter solstice, and all that.
Yes. And I was like, wow, no one has ever said that to me. And that how Christianity, how that's been translated into Jesus Christ, the resurrection, and all of that. But actually, it was the moving of the sun that was initially the idea for that, and then, you know, other people ran with that, and then we got the stories, you know, the folklore of, people might be offended if I say the folklore of the Bible, but the story of the Bible in terms of Jesus. And I thought, wow, that did stay with me. I was like, wow.
Yeah. And I think that's sort of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Not trend, but like, I guess movement in the Black community at the moment is like, there's a lot of people sort of, what's the word? Deconstructing from Christianity, because, you know, realizing that it doesn't serve them.
No.
so yeah, but for me, for her one, it was the discussion around like renegotiating, having the confidence, I guess, to renegotiate the terms of, you know, your life, essentially, like, you know, you're in your relationships and your marriage, and, you know, all of these things, because people, you know, change and grow. And I think this is me going into my own sort of interpretation of things, but I think it's very few of us have had good examples of how to cultivate relationships and how to keep how to maintain relationships, because it's a job. You know what I mean? Like, everyone always says marriage is hard work, and it is, but it's about cultivating that relationship. It's about, you know, doing some fucking gardening. Sometimes you got to prune some shit. Like, so I don't think a lot of us know how to do that properly.
Yeah.
And so you get to a point in your marriage where you're like, who the fuck am I dealing with? You know what I mean? And so it's like, oh, we got to go back, you know, we got to renegotiate some things.
Yeah.
And when she said that, I was like, yeah, I feel that. Like, and I think a lot of women in those sorts of situations, and not just marriages. I think that that's across the board for all relationships, essentially, like with your job, with, you know, whatever. You got to renegotiate some shit sometimes. So yeah, it's been a journey.
It has, and we're so grateful, you know,
absolutely,
for the people that have listened into the podcast, our guests, as well. I mean, it's been an amazing journey for me, for sure, and it sounds like for you as well. So so we're now in season 2. But we've had a long break.
We have. We have. I mean, the holidays popped up and there were birthdays and I think we just both needed a little bit of a break as well. Like, because it's a lot that goes into sort of producing this and putting this all together. And as I was tired.
I mean, it's been a strange few years, isn't it? There was a lot to be tired about.
Yeah, absolutely. But I am super stoked for this second season. I think we are, you know, coming into our own a bit more. And we've got, I don't know, I think we've got some fire ideas for the shows that are coming up. And I'm excited for the guests that we have in place, or like, you know, that the topics and stuff that we have coming up. So I don't know, how much should we let them know? Should we let
I mean,
I don't know.
And I think
stay tuned.
I think there is going to be a particular flavor in season 2, and obviously we're going to focus on the body. We're also always astrology is always going to be there. So we're going to have some killer interviews with people who are going to talk to us about lots of different things, and particularly around the body, you know. And I think that's going to be a journey in itself, because culturally, where we come from in terms of, you know, how disposable, or, you know, how we view our bodies is like, just, it's on another level. But also we're going to delve into our little rabbit holes of the things that we're interested in as well.
I'm excited about that too, because I think it gives the audience obviously a fuller view of who we are as people, you know. So it'll be interesting, I think. I'm excited.
But also wider issues, because, you know, we're living here too. We're impacted by the cultures too. And so we would also love to have some comments about, you know, what people would also like to see as well. And I know that in season 1 there were some comments about wanting to dig down deeper into ancestry. That was something that some of the listeners had requested. Was it about understanding ancestry?
So we'll definitely dig into that, because I feel like we both have a passion, you know, around that.
For sure.
And ancestry is huge. Like it I don't know, it answers a lot of questions, or I mean it causes a lot of questions as well. But, you know, I don't know, it helps with feeling whole, I guess, you know, kind of knowing your people, essentially.
For sure. And it's funny, even in the break, even in, you know, as we've had a break from the podcast, when I meet people, I always ask, where are you people from? That's my thing now, you know, because
nice.
When you live in a different country and you look at the way that we do, people are always interested in, you know, your heritage, and they're like where you from? I'm from London. Oh no, but where you from, you know? And it's like, oh, my heritage is West African. And then it's like, you always get those questions. I always get those
Yeah.
questions. And so now my vocabulary is like, yeah, but where are your people's from? Where are your people from?
That's awesome.
I've certainly taken that into my real life.
Yeah, yeah. I've since the break, I've kind of learned that I am not like I can do the small talk thing and have a chat with people, but I like deeper conversation. Like I think that's all the Scorpio placements I have.
Okay.
I think they're just fucking firing up now that I'm like, because my birthday's next week.
Oh,
Next Friday. Yeah.
oh,
So
wow.
because we in Aquarius season, girl.
Yeah,
Ciao.
we are for sure.
Nothing's in retrograde. Like
Nothing. I
I'm feeling
know.
good.
Like everything's direct. It's like
Yeah.
you just put us
Now is
through
the
that, and now
time.
everything decides to go direct. It's like, yeah, all of you go direct at the same time.
Yep.
Go on,
It's
go.
like green light. Do what you need to do. Get your shit together.
Yeah.
Because you
So
got
what-
to like, I think April 18th, I think. I
okay.
could be wrong on the date, but yeah, like it's
So what does it
it's a
mean?
good time.
Happy birthday
It's
for
a good
Friday.
time
But
to
what does it mean?
thank you.
Aquarius season.
What does Aquarius season mean? It's it's innovation. But it's, I guess, sort of figuring out your vibration, right? Aquarius energy is like the vibration energy of the zodiac. It's how we vibrate. It's where we vibrate, both collectively and individually. So that's why it's the two wavy lines. That's my interpretation of it anyway. Like that top line is collective, so the collective vibration. The bottom line is your inner vibration and how you vibrate. And I think with everything sort of going direct now as well, because it was it was rough the past couple of months.
Mercury, Venus, all the seriously.
Jupiter, like I was like, what is going on? And did you hear that story about some astronomers, or I don't know, people in NASA, whatever, found this like star that emitted like this frequency every 18 minutes? Have you heard that story?
No.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty
Tell me
big.
about it. Like
it's, I mean, I don't know a ton. All I know is that, yeah, they found this thing. It's like they've never seen it before. It's like a never seen before sort of phenomena. And I can't remember what they.
Did you say it's a star?
Yeah, it's a star, or it's a. Oh, I should have been more prepared for this. They called it something like a shit. I can't remember exactly what they called it, but it like emitted a frequency every 18 minutes, and it like the spiritual and astrology community is just going off at the moment, trying to like, with all their theories about what it is. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's the coming of the Christ. It's something else like that's in the something that's like a ball, or like almost like God, I think like God's chariot or something like that. Like like
God
we're getting
a chariot.
Yeah. It gets deep. Okay. But going back to sort of everything going direct now, I think now is a good time for. I don't want to say manifestation, because I think that's getting a little bit played out, and people, I think, probably don't necessarily understand or realize how to do manifestation properly, because there's levels to shit. But
yeah,
I think it's a good time to be about that action. Like I think it's a good time. Like everything's out of retrograde, everything's direct. Like now is a green light essentially from the universe to say whatever plans you had when everything was in retrograde, if you're good to go. Like start putting things into motion. And
it's funny that the kind of the worldwide event pandemic has kind of given people potentially a lot of time to think about plans, whether it's travel, whether it's your career, maybe it's like your friendships, your relationships, where you want to live, what you want to do, what does your life look like. So sounds like this would be an apt time to kind of put things into action, because we've been forced into inaction. We've been unable to do anything. You couldn't even go down the road.
No.
Here in Melbourne, anyway. You couldn't even go down the road.
Couldn't go down the road. Couldn't really leave your house.
No, you couldn't leave your house. You couldn't leave your house. And if you got COVID in your house, you were staying in your bedroom.
Yes.
If you lived in a house with other people, and you got the virus, you were literally staying in your room for 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Like, not coming out. So, I mean, it's great that everything's going direct, and you can act on those things that you've been thinking about for a long time.
But so we're super excited about season 2 moving forward. We got a lot of good stuff planned. I'm excited. We're gonna dig deeper into astrology. I think we're gonna do some astrology, some deep dives into astrology to help people really understand sort of what to do and what they're looking for in natal charts and what those things actually mean, and how to, my goal would be to help people really put it into action, right? Like learning how, like, it's not enough to just say, oh, my sun is in the 7th house. What does that mean? And how do I use that? How do I apply that to my life to actually, shift some shit that I need to move around because I don't feel good in a certain area or whatever. And then we haven't actually talked about this, but I actually want to throw in, what is it? Human design as well. I think is going to be a good one to chat about and discuss. Because it ties in, like, it's not just astrology, it ties in the Kabbalah, it ties in I Ching, it ties in kind of like all of the systems essentially into one, to really sort of hone in on you as a person. And I've done a little bit of a dive into my own human design chart, and it makes a lot of sense for me. Like,
would you just give a little intro into what human design is? Like, what is it? Like, just a tiny little, like, what is it? I guess, I know you said that it incorporates, but what is it?
It's essentially
like a guide to help people.
It's a guide to sort of how I guess it's more body based, right?
Body-based.
It's an interest, because it's very interesting. Like, you put it's the same information that you use for natal chart. Your name, your birth, date of birth, all of that information. And what it does is it creates sort of this diagram, and there are different centers in the diagram, and that's like, if they're filled in, you're good to go in that area. If you're not, it means something else. They've got like these gene keys that go along the side. Like, it's a lot to take in. So it's definitely not one to like talk about in 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, you got to really like have a discussion about that. But I guess there's like different profiles for it as well. So there's generator, there's manifesting generator, there's projector. And there's another one, I think.
So it basically is like a guide. So it uses astrology, it uses all these other modalities. But it's a way that it's a process that helps you to understand who you are, what you're made of, how to operate in the world, maybe
how to unlock you, essentially, is what it is. That's how I would sort of really succinctly paraphrase it. It's like it's the key to unlocking who you are as a person, so that you can sort of operate at your optimum frequency, essentially. So, like, for instance, I'm a generator, which generators are we do work, and I work, like I love it. Like, I can really get lost in work. Like, I'll look up and it's like fucking 5. I haven't eaten all day. Like, if I'm really into it. If I'm not, I don't do, like, I procrastinate. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get anything done. Right. And part of my part of being a generator is my authority is in my sacral chakra. And so that's what I need to sort of lean into to help me make decisions. And it's just it's fascinating. It's like I'm more aligned to yes no questions. So if you ask me what do you want to eat, I'm probably not really going to be able to give you, like, I'm probably going to be like, and dead ass, I'll be like, well, I kind of feel like this and I kind of feel like that. But if you ask me, hey, do you want pizza? I'm going to be able to say yes or no. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll be like, nah, I don't want pizza.
Yeah.
Do you want Chinese? Yeah. I'll have Chinese. Yeah, that's good. You know what I mean? But if you're like, what do you want? I'm going to go through a whole bunch of shit.
Okay.
like, so, and then the other
So does
thing,
everyone in your house know that? You're a yes or no?
They do now.
Have you let everyone know? Just
they do
saying.
now. Yeah.
Just yes or no questions.
That's it's so funny because my husband the other day was like, I'm gonna go to the shops. Do you want anything? And I was like, just ask me if I want something. Like, just ask me a question that I can say yes or no to, because right now there's a lot of shit in my head that I could be like, well, I could use all of this. You know what I mean? I don't want to send you on that journey. So,
yeah.
And he was like, okay, do you want chocolate? And I was like, nah, I don't want any chocolate. He was like, do you want ice cream? Yes, that's what I want. I want ice cream. And then he went and got the wrong ice cream. So that was fine. But I was like, yeah, one fucking job. All I asked for was ice cream. You wrote the wrong one. Good Lord. But and then the other thing with my one, so the sacral chakra, it's like the responses are guttural, apparently.
Okay.
And I'm still trying to figure that one out because it's like a Okay. And that's like my natural response to things. Now, mind you, I run charts on everybody in my family. My kids are generators as well. When I ask them a question, a yes or no question, that's how they respond. And it only just like it's like, oh, okay. So I've been conditioned not to respond that way because it's not cute, you know, you know what I mean? Like, no one wants their kid walk around, you know what I mean? It's like, fucking open your mouth and speak. So I was like, all right, so I need to work on that. But there's a lot to it. We'll definitely dig into it, I think, because there's a lot to uncover with it. And I think it's a good system I think all of the systems are really good to sort of like build on each other, essentially, you know, because astrology can teach you about sort of your cosmic mapping and what's in the stars. But I think because we're on Earth and because we've incarnated here, we need to be in our bodies and we need to be able to understand our bodies in order to make all these things sort of synergize, I guess. So
I think that season 2 is really going to be about the body, because I'm going to do lots of little sections and little interludes about herbs, because since I've been in my mid-20s, I've been using herbs, and I didn't think it was a big deal. You know, if I'm feeling a certain way, you know, I know which herbs to go to, and I didn't realize that, you know, that is something that can be shared about the use of herbs, and also a respect of herbs as well. Just because something's natural doesn't mean it can't be dangerous and kill you. Do you know what I mean? But so I want to be able to share some of the information that I've gathered since my mid-20s. I use herbs every single day.
I'm like, when you told me that, I was like, girl,
I know
we need to
and I did a little herb box. I've got a friend who's having, you know, a few issues, and she spoke to me about it, and so I did her a box of little herbs, you know. If you're a little bit bunged up, constipated, take this one. And I gave her a book of, you know, stuff, how to take it, where is it from, you know, what has it been used for, what is contraindicated. So when I mean that, I mean, like, if you have a certain condition, please don't take this. And so I did her a little book, and I gave her all these herbs, and I was like, there you go. And then I was like, actually, I know all this stuff about herbs, and I use herbs every single day. And I'm starting to experiment with making my own tinctures.
Nice.
and using a lot of herbs that are just really restful and can help you in terms of sleep. Because I have an issue with dreaming. I sleep, but I don't always remember my dreams. I started making these tinctures. I've got a few of them in my fridge actually,
Oh, nice.
just to help with, you know, nighttime. Because obviously I'm a Gemini, so my head is everywhere. So I need something that helps me to kind of calm it all down.
Yeah.
But what happens in the dream time, remembering my dreams and all of that kind of stuff. So I started, so I've got this special tincture. So a tincture is basically a herb that is infused, and I use vodka
Okay.
yeah.
Why do
And
you use vodka? What's the benefit of vodka over something else?
You can, I think because vodka has no taste.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it
Yeah.
means, yeah,
That
it
makes
has no
sense.
taste.
Yeah.
It's quite a clean, I mean, it's strong, obviously, but it's quite a
Yeah.
clean carrier. And most tinctures that I've had have always had alcohol in them, but
Okay.
I've never had a whiskey or a rum one. They've always been vodka.
Right. Always been
Vodka
vodka.
based, alcohol based, clear alcohol based.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm experimenting with that, and I'm gonna share that in terms of the podcast.
I'm
And
excited for that.
it might be helpful. Yeah, it might be
Yeah.
helpful.
I wanted to ask you,
Mm,
do you have any recommendations, or have you come across anything in your sort of knowledge of herbs and
mm.
and using them for specific things? Any that help with increasing focus?
Yeah, you do get the like the ginsengs,
Okay.
those types of things that can can kind of help a little bit with
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest with you, if someone came to me and they was asking about focus, I'd probably want to be a little bit more holistic. I probably want to get a little bit of a rundown of what's actually going on, what's actually going on for you in terms of any kind of stressors, sleep pattern, diet, exercise, any. So I'd probably do a bit more of I'd
Yeah,
ask
right.
a few
Okay.
more questions.
We'll chat offline.
Yeah, I'd ask a few more questions,
Yeah,
because the lack of focus can be a whole host of things.
that's true.
It
Yeah.
could be minerals, vitamins, it could be stress, it could be tiredness, it could be the thing that you're focusing on you actually don't want to do. Just saying.
That is
Just
true.
saying.
That is
Or
true.
it means that, you know, maybe you're not in sync with like your own body rhythms. Like I'm not a morning person. So but I love to exercise, and people always say to me, oh yeah, you know, get up at 5 a.m. No, I'm not getting up at any 5 stupid o'clock
Yeah.
a.m. to go and do any exercise, because I know myself. And I know
Yeah.
that if I start to do the early morning exercises, I get really, really tired. And by 3 o'clock, I'm meant to be working, and I just want to crawl under the table and go to sleep. You know, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to focus on my job between 3 and 5. You know what I mean? Between 3 and 5, Angela needs to take a nap. And it's,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'd probably ask a few more questions.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
We
Fair
can
enough.
take it offline.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, because yeah, I has questions.
Yeah.
I
And there
have
might
questions.
be things that are not going to work for you.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like I took a herb the other day, and I have quite low blood pressure, and this herb actually impacts. It's really good if you've got high blood pressure.
Oh, okay.
And so I
Okay.
have low blood pressure. So I did take the herb. I'm just, you know, sometimes it's like test and see. And I definitely felt it. I felt the, you know,
Right.
the
Okay.
blood, my blood sugar, blood pressure, like it
Yeah.
was definitely impacted. So yeah,
Okay.
I'd ask a
Okay.
few more questions of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
yeah,
Fair enough. Fair
yeah.
enough.
Well,
Cool.
good.
All right.
And I'm also going to do a little a little interlude about life story work.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Our podcast is about our stories and the power of our stories. And I'm going to be doing a solo interlude podcast about life story work for adults.
Nice.
And how that can be really helpful, and what tools can be used. Go a little bit into the history of life story work, where it came from. What does it target in terms of, you know, our stories and trauma, and understanding it, integrating them, and also how it can be helpful for adults as well.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah,
that's exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a little bit of chat about parenting tactics and techniques and tips and tricks and the stuff that I've picked up. Because I've found that, and I think I've spoken to you about this before, the gentle parenting community
What's gentle parenting? What's gentle parenting?
Yeah, gentle parenting is the idea of like being more respectful towards it's common sense shit, like being more respectful towards kids, not beating them, not hitting them.
Okay.
And just using a gentler approach to discipline. Okay. So like no timeouts. I don't believe in timeouts either.
Okay.
And the reason why I don't is because you're asking a child that doesn't understand what they're feeling, that doesn't know how to navigate emotions very well, to navigate it on their own.
Okay.
I think it's counterintuitive because they don't know, you know what I mean? And then you wonder why when they're teenagers, they go in their room and don't fucking speak to you. Yeah. It's like you shut them away, you know, repeatedly. Okay. Yeah, that's my take on it. That could be completely wrong, but that's just how I choose to parent my kids. They do not get timeouts. If anything, they get time ins, which is like, you know, you're upset, let's be upset, let's cry, let's cry it out, and then we have a chat when they've calmed down and they're a bit more level-headed. That's when the discipline
break
comes
it down
in.
with them. Yeah,
and we can have a conversation about it, as opposed to me hollering and screaming every 5 seconds. And don't get me wrong, like that still happens, right? Like I'm human. Fuck.
Yeah.
It is constant, mommy, like every 5 seconds. So, but what I found in the gentle parenting community was specifically within the white sector of that community, it's not as welcome. Like they do a very good job of making you feel like a shitty parent when you don't sort of do it the way they do it, right? Like, so for example, I got 2 examples. One, when my son was about 2.5, 3, he threw a cell phone through the window. I mean, all the way, like the window broke.
Okay.
And I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. And so my first instinct was to get a belt and to lay into him. And he was like, and I picked it up and he was like, no, don't hit me. And I was like, I'm not going to hit you. I'm not going to hit you. Okay. Okay. We're going to do this differently, because clearly you didn't mean to do this. You're only 3. You know what I mean? Like he was just so excited and just so, you know, wound up. He just chucked the shit, and it just so happened to go through the window. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't his objective. Yeah. So the way I handled it was, you know, I just gave him a very stern talking to. And then I hopped on to the gentle parenting community, and I was like, I really need some help. My kid just threw a fucking phone through the window. I am shaking. I did not beat him, but this is how I handled it. What other advice, you know, what else could I have done here? Like, please help me. And the comments that I got was, that's not how we do it. That's not how we discipline kids. You know, when things like that happen, we make them help in cleaning it up. Bitch, it's glass. He's 3. I'm not, no, he's not helping to clean up. What? Like, I was just like, wait a minute, you know, and there was nothing to say, great job on, you know, not that I'm looking for sort of that validation, but it was just straight away. It was just like, no, criticism. This is what, that's what it was. And then another example I have is I'm on TikTok quite a lot, and another Black gentle parent, content creator, she posted a video saying that her gentle parenting technique for doing her daughter's hair, this is Black hair, is she allots like 2 hours or 3 hours to do her hair.
Yeah.
And the gentle parenting community showed out. And there are a lot of stitches and reactions to her video saying things like, that would never be allowed in my house. 10 minutes max for hair time, for doing hair, washing hair, and And
with Black hair, you can't do anything in 10 minutes.
Exactly. I'm gonna get there. And then another thing was like, I would have her in the bath, and here's a spoon, and you can draw pictures on the tiles with the spoon, with the bubbles in the bath, and blah blah blah. And so the Black content creator was like, this is a teachable moment, because what happened here was cultural context was completely thrown out the window. I do not wash my daughter's hair in the bathtub, number one. Number two, ain't shit getting done in 10 minutes with Black hair.
Nope.
Not a thing. You know what I mean? So
nope.
It's just, it's not the all-inclusive community. And then the other aspect of it is they don't show or talk about the really hard times. You know what I mean? Like it's only the easy bits that they want to talk about and showcase. It's not, when your kid is really in the thick of a fucking meltdown, how do you deal with it? How do you regulate yourself and help them? Like, I need some more help, because you know what I mean? So that's why I have kind of not broken away from the gentle parenting community, but I've definitely found more Black gentle parents that I resonate with a lot more, because they understand the struggle. They understand the cultural, situations that we're all in. Like my daughter's hair is man. I don't know if you could tell I got a lot of hair. Imagine how much hair she has.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I braided it the other day. My hand still hurts. Like it's so I'm really looking forward to that, actually. Good. I am
your
too.
Parenting segments and the things that, because I know that there's that for you talk about a lot about your parenting journey, and I think it would be really helpful to kind of share what you're experiencing, obviously within context, and also from you're coming from a sense of realness, and not a kind of imaginary everything's great and I'm great and they're great and life's great, and
because ain't shit sweet. I mean, but it's good, but everybody's human. We all have our moments, and we're all just trying to stitch it together as best we can. So
so that sounds like that's going to be our season 2. And wow.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Me too.
I can't wait.
Me too. It's going to be jam-packed.
All right. And I think we got some other little things in the works, but I think we'll announce those a little bit closer to when they're ready. But I can't wait for that either. That's going to be great.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think, guys, stay tuned. In the next couple of weeks, we'll have the first or the second episode of season 2 ready and rolling.
And again, we would love for you to like, comment, subscribe,
all the things.
All of those things. We love your support, but also if you would like, and we would love you to share this with your friends and family who you think would love this too. All right.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. We'll be in touch soon.
Bye.
Adios.